There's a manifestation technique so powerful that Dr. Joe Dispenza refuses to share it publicly, until now. Scientists discovered that when you do this one thing in secret, your brain starts creating the exact neurochemistry of your future before it even happens. It's called quantum coherence broadcasting, and it works by aligning your electromagnetic field with the version of you that already has everything you want. The catch? The moment you tell someone about your manifestation, you instantly kill its power. Over 18,000 brain scans prove that people who practice this technique in complete silence become electromagnetically different human beings. They don't just think differently. Their bodies literally start producing the biochemistry of success, wealth, and perfect relationships before these things show up in their reality. If you've been struggling to manifest anything significant, it's because you've been broadcasting the frequency of your current self instead of your future self. What I'm about to show you will flip that switch permanently, but you must promise to keep this between us. Here's what Dr. Dispenza's research reveals that will change everything you thought you knew about manifestation. When you share your goals before they manifest, your brain releases dopamine, the same pleasure chemical it would release if you had already achieved the goal. Your mind literally tricks itself into thinking part of the work is done, killing your motivation to take action. This neurological phenomenon is called social reality, where announcing an intention gives you the same satisfaction as completing it. But there's something even deeper happening that most people never discover. Every time you announce your intention, you're creating what scientists call energy leakage. Your electromagnetic field, yes, you have one, becomes scattered and diluted by external opinions, doubts, and reactions. The universe responds to vibrational coherence, not to what you say. When you speak your dreams into existence prematurely, you're essentially asking other people's subconscious minds to interfere with your manifestation process. Dr. Dispenza's brain scans of over 18,000 participants prove that during silent manifestation states, your neural networks fire in perfect synchronization. Your heart and brain achieve what's called coherent resonance, creating a powerful electromagnetic signal that extends far beyond your physical body. This field literally interacts with the quantum matrix around you, collapsing potential realities into your current experience. The measurement tools show that this coherent state produces a torus-shaped energy field that can be detected up to 8 feet from the body. The most successful manifestors understand this crucial principle. The quantum field responds to your internal frequency, not your external declarations. When you keep your intentions in sacred silence, you maintain what researchers call energetic integrity. Your vibration stays pure and undiluted by other people's limiting beliefs. Every opinion, every doubt, every skeptical comment acts like static interference on your manifestation signal. Studies reveal that people who practice silent manifestation experience something called temporal collapse, where future possibilities start bleeding into their present reality. They stop waiting for circumstances to change and begin experiencing the internal shift that makes all external change inevitable. Their brains literally rewire through neuroplasticity, forming new neural pathways that support their desired reality. This isn't mystical thinking, it's measurable neuroscience backed by thousands of brain imaging studies. The most fascinating discovery is that silence accelerates the reprogramming process by bypassing the analytical mind. When you're not explaining or justifying your goals to others, your subconscious mind has complete freedom to reorganize itself around your new identity. This is why the most powerful manifestations happen in the quiet moments between thoughts, when your consciousness merges with the infinite field of possibilities. Here's the shocking truth that changes everything. By the time you reach adulthood, 95% of your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions are completely hardwired into your subconscious mind. This means you're running on autopilot for nearly your entire life, unconsciously recreating the same patterns, the same problems, and the same limitations over and over again. Your subconscious doesn't care about your dreams, it only cares about keeping you safe in familiar patterns, even if those patterns are destroying your life. Dr. Dispenza's research reveals something most people never realize. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It responds to the strongest emotional signal you're broadcasting, whether that signal comes from your past experiences or your future visions. If your deepest programming says, "I'm not worthy," "money is hard to come by," or "good things don't happen to me," then your subconscious will work tirelessly to prove those beliefs correct. Dr. Bruce Lipton's groundbreaking work in the biology of belief shows that these limiting beliefs are primarily formed by age 7, during the critical Theta brainwave period when children absorb everything without question. But here's where it gets fascinating. Dr. Dispenza discovered that when people learn to become conscious of their unconscious patterns, they can literally rewire their brains in real time. The key is catching yourself in the act of being your old self and refusing to follow the familiar neural pathway. Every time you stop an automatic thought, behavior, or emotional reaction, you're breaking the neural circuits that keep you trapped in your current reality. Victory today is not going unconscious to those thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that have been running your life on autopilot. The breakthrough happens when you start firing and wiring new thoughts with intention and attention. Dr. Dispenza explains that if you keep thinking a new thought over and over again, it becomes hardwired as a belief. Your brain literally changes its structure to match your new internal reality. The neurons that fire together wire together, creating new neural pathways that support your desired future instead of your familiar past. This process activates your prefrontal cortex and assigns meaning to the act, installing new circuits in your brain that become more hardwired with repetition. The most powerful technique involves emotionally embracing your future so intensely that your body begins to believe it's already living in that new reality. When you condition your body to the emotions of your future before your circumstances change, you're programming your subconscious to recognize and attract experiences that match that elevated emotional state. This isn't positive thinking, this is biological reprogramming at the cellular level. You literally begin generating the biochemistry of abundance, love, and worthiness before you see any external evidence. What makes this process even more remarkable is Dr. Dispenza's discovery about energy transformation. He found that when people properly meditate and move energy up from their lower centers to their brain, they experience what can only be described as ecstasy or bliss. The energy that was once stored as guilt, shame, or insecurity gets transformed and travels up to the brain, creating more energy and beginning to produce an external electromagnetic field around the body. This field literally becomes the signal you're broadcasting to the quantum matrix of possibilities. Studies from Dr. Dispenza's 7-day retreats show that participants who master this process experience measurable changes in gene expression, brain coherence, and even their physical appearance within days. Their bodies stop producing the chemistry of their old personality and start generating the biochemistry of their new identity. The transformation is so profound that even their breast milk composition changes to reflect their new internal state. This demonstrates the power of epigenetic reprogramming, how changing your beliefs and mental state can literally alter which genes are expressed in your body. The key to making this transformation permanent lies in understanding that you must become so conscious of your unconscious self that you won't let a single limiting thought slip by your awareness unchecked. When you condition yourself to the emotions of the future and get a very clear image of who you're going to be, you guarantee that you'll come up against all those unconscious programs. But this is exactly what needs to happen. You need to see these patterns so clearly that you become the consciousness observing the program rather than being the program itself. Here's where manifestation becomes pure science instead of wishful thinking. Dr. Dispenza's research proves that when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you create what quantum physicists call an electromagnetic signal that extends beyond your physical body into the unified field of infinite possibilities. This isn't metaphysics, this is measurable energy that can be detected with specialized equipment up to 8 feet from your body. The quantum field is where all potential realities exist in a state of pure possibility, waiting to collapse into physical form. Dr. Jacobo Grinberg's revolutionary synergic theory provides the scientific foundation for how consciousness interacts with this field. Grinberg discovered that when your brain achieves coherent states, it literally connects to what he called the neuronal field, an invisible matrix where thought becomes reality. His research showed that experienced meditators could influence each other's brain activity even when physically separated, proving that consciousness operates through non-local quantum connections. What Dr. Dispenza found through thousands of brain scans is that during deep meditative states, participants enter what he calls the quantum field, a realm beyond space and time where linear cause and effect doesn't apply. Instead of forcing outcomes through physical action, you're literally causing an effect by broadcasting the frequency of your desired reality. Your thoughts become the electric charge, your emotions become the magnetic field, and together they create an electromagnetic signature that draws matching experiences from the field of all possibilities. The breakthrough happens when you understand that physical matter is 99.99% energy. If thoughts are energy and everything in the physical world is energy, then thoughts can absolutely materialize in physical form. Dr. Dispenza's research shows that when people properly align their mind and body frequencies, they access what quantum physicists call wave-particle duality, the ability to exist as both energy and matter simultaneously. In this state, you're no longer bound by the limitations of three-dimensional reality because you're operating from the fifth-dimensional quantum realm where all possibilities coexist. But here's the most mind-bending part. The field responds to elevated emotions like love, gratitude, and joy because these frequencies create what Dr. Dispenza calls coherence between your heart and brain. When your heart rhythm becomes coherent and your brain waves synchronize, you generate a torus-shaped electromagnetic field that extends far beyond your physical boundaries. This field literally becomes your quantum signal, broadcasting your future reality into existence. Dr. Dispenza has documented that love and gratitude are the highest frequencies, capable of synchronizing your heart and brain into a state called coherence, enhancing clarity, intuition, and access to elevated states of consciousness. The quantum field operates on the principle that your electromagnetic signature acts like a magnet, drawing in experiences that resonate at similar frequencies. If your thoughts and emotions emit vibrational frequencies of fear, you'll attract more fearful experiences from the unified field. But when you resonate at the frequencies of love, gratitude, and joy, you attract experiences aligned with those elevated states. This explains why some days everything seems to go your way, while others bring one piece of bad news after another. You're unconsciously tuning into different quantum frequencies. Dr. Dispenza's 7-day retreats demonstrate this phenomenon repeatedly. Participants who master the technique of combining clear intention with elevated emotion experience what can only be described as timeline jumping. Their reality reorganizes at the subatomic level, creating synchronicities and coincidences that are actually quantum entanglement in action. They're not attracting their desires from somewhere else, they're collapsing the version of reality where they already have what they want. The manifestation doesn't come to them through predictable linear means, it arrives through completely unexpected pathways that only the quantum field could orchestrate. The most powerful discovery is that when you maintain this coherent state, you're literally activating dormant DNA and transforming your biology at the cellular level. Your body stops aging in the traditional sense and begins producing the chemistry of your future self. This is why Dr. Dispenza can show measurable changes in gene expression, immune function, and even physical appearance within days of people learning this technique. At the cellular level, your body begins generating the biochemistry of the person you're becoming before your external circumstances reflect that change. The key to accessing the quantum field lies in what Dr. Dispenza calls his space-time-time-space meditation, based on the idea that by transcending the physical body and environment, we can enter the quantum field beyond space and time where all possibilities exist. In this state, we can interact directly with energy and consciousness to effect change in the physical world. When multiple individuals cultivate these coherent states simultaneously, there can be profound positive energy shifts that extend far beyond individual manifestation into collective reality transformation. Here's the brutal truth about why most manifestation attempts fail. Your body has become addicted to the chemistry of your old self, and it will fight tooth and nail to keep you trapped in familiar patterns. Dr. Dispenza's research reveals that resistance isn't just mental, it's biological. Your cells have been producing the same cocktail of stress hormones, survival chemicals, and limitation-based neurochemicals for years, and they've literally become dependent on this toxic chemistry. When you try to step into your new identity, your body launches what can only be described as a full-scale rebellion. You'll experience discomfort, anxiety, even physical pain as your old programs desperately try to pull you back into the familiar. Dr. Dispenza warns that this discomfort is actually a sign you're doing the work correctly. If you weren't challenging your conditioning, you'd still be trapped in those same chemical states. The key is recognizing that this temporary discomfort is your breakthrough trying to emerge. The most insidious form of resistance comes from what Dr. Dispenza calls your default mode network, the neural pathways that activate the moment you stop paying conscious attention. This network keeps you trapped in automatic patterns, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and making the same choices that created your current reality. Every morning when you wake up, your body floods itself with the same chemicals it produced yesterday, creating an endless loop that keeps you stuck. But here's where it gets fascinating. You can only be unconscious when you're in the program. The moment you become aware that you're thinking a limiting thought, feeling a familiar emotion, or behaving in an old pattern, you're no longer the program, you're the consciousness observing the program. This shift from being the victim of your conditioning to becoming the witness of it is where true transformation begins. Dr. Dispenza discovered that moving out of these resistance patterns requires an enormous amount of energy and awareness, because you're literally demonstrating a will that's greater than your body's automated programming. You're executing a level of mind that's greater than the body, which has been conditioned to be the mind. This is why change feels so difficult. You're going against years of biological programming. The breakthrough technique involves catching yourself in the act of being your old self and refusing to follow that familiar neural pathway. Every time you stop an automatic thought, behavior, or emotional reaction, you're literally breaking the neural circuits that keep you trapped. But here's the crucial part. You must replace that old pattern with a new one immediately, or your brain will default back to what's familiar. The most powerful way to break resistance is through what Dr. Dispenza calls heart coherence. When you slow your breathing and place your attention on your heart while practicing elevated emotions like love, gratitude, and appreciation, you create a signal that tells your survival system to shut down. The amygdala literally resets, moving your body out of survival mode and into creation mode. This coherent heart rhythm sends information to your brain that it's safe to change, safe to create, and safe to step into your new identity. The resistance patterns are strongest during the twilight state before sleep, because this is when your analytical mind steps aside and your subconscious becomes incredibly receptive. Your old programming knows this is its last chance to keep you trapped, so it will bombard you with worry, doubt, and fear. But this is also your greatest opportunity. When you fall asleep holding the thoughts and feelings of your new reality, your brain spends the entire night strengthening those neural networks instead of reinforcing the old patterns. Dr. Dispenza's research shows that people who successfully break through resistance patterns understand that consistency is everything. Each night that you consciously choose to reprogram your subconscious instead of defaulting to worry or limitation, you're literally building a superhighway between your conscious desires and your subconscious programming. The biggest breakthroughs often come right after the moments of greatest resistance, when your old programming is making its final desperate attempt to keep you trapped. Here's the precise formula Dr. Dispenza discovered for accessing the flow state where manifestation becomes effortless. It requires combining a clear intention with an elevated emotion to create what he calls the perfect state, relaxed in your heart, awake in your brain. This isn't meditation. This is the exact neurological configuration that allows you to access the quantum field where all possibilities exist. The flow state happens when your heart rhythm becomes coherent and your brain waves synchronize into alpha and theta frequencies. Dr. Dispenza has conducted over 6,000 heart scans proving that when people achieve heart coherence, something extraordinary happens. Their electromagnetic field extends beyond their physical body and begins interacting directly with the quantum matrix. This coherent state creates what he calls a Wi-Fi signal that broadcasts your desires directly into the field of infinite possibilities. But here's what most people don't understand about the flow state. It only becomes accessible when you completely disconnect from survival mode. As long as you're stressed, impatient, or worried about outcomes, your nervous system remains locked in sympathetic arousal, a state designed for survival, not creation. You're literally stepping on the gas and brake simultaneously, creating incoherent heart rhythms that scatter your electromagnetic field. The breakthrough comes when you learn to convert those survival emotions into elevated emotions like love, gratitude, and joy. Dr. Dispenza's research shows that these elevated states cause your body to secrete chemicals that are literally antiviral, anti-cancer, and anti-aging. When you're relaxed in your heart, your body believes it's living in a nurturing environment and begins expressing entirely new genes. This is how people heal from terminal illnesses during his retreats. The formula is deceptively simple but requires precise execution. First, you must shift from beta brainwaves, analytical thinking, to alpha and theta frequencies, creative receptive states. Dr. Dispenza teaches people to change their brainwaves by opening their focus and connecting to what he calls the invisible field. When different compartments of your brain start synchronizing, the front talking to the back, the right side communicating with the left, you experience what can only be described as feeling whole. Simultaneously, you must regulate your heart center through specific breathing techniques and elevated emotions. When your heart beats in a coherent rhythm, it sends signals to your brain that it's safe to create, safe to dream, and safe to step into your future reality. This heart-brain coherence creates a torus-shaped electromagnetic field that extends up to 8 feet from your body, literally becoming your manifestation signal. The most powerful aspect of the flow state is what Dr. Dispenza calls temporal collapse, where you stop living by cause and effect and start causing an effect. Instead of waiting for external circumstances to change your internal state, you generate the emotions of your future before it arrives. The moment you start feeling abundant, worthy, and grateful, your wealth is already on its way because you're broadcasting the frequency that attracts those experiences. Dispenza's formula requires that you reach what he calls the generous present moment, a state where you feel so connected and complete that you no longer want the things you thought you wanted because you feel like you already have them. From this place, you naturally become less judgmental, less frustrated, and less impatient because you're operating from wholeness rather than lack. This is the exact state where synchronicities multiply and doors open effortlessly because you're vibrationally aligned with the flow of creation itself. The key insight is that where you place your attention is where you place your energy. When you consistently focus on elevated emotions and future possibilities rather than past limitations, you literally train your body to become the mind of your future self. This isn't visualization, this is biological reprogramming that changes your gene expression and electromagnetic signature at the cellular level. Here's the most closely guarded secret in Dr. Dispenza's work: the 48-hour manifestation protocol that combines nocturnal reprogramming with what he calls quantum coherence broadcasting. The key is understanding that your brain enters theta brainwave states right before sleep, the same frequency where children absorb programming without question. This twilight state is when your analytical mind steps aside and your subconscious becomes 100 times more receptive to new information. Dr. Dispenza discovered that the most rapid transformations happen when people practice what he calls future memory installation during this critical window. Instead of falling asleep to worry or limitation, you deliberately program your subconscious with the thoughts, emotions, and sensory details of your desired reality. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced, so it begins building neural networks for your future while you sleep. But here's where it gets scientifically fascinating. Dr. Dispenza's brain scans show that during deep REM sleep, people who practice this technique experience what can only be described as reality rehearsal. Their brains fire in the exact same patterns they would if they were actually living their desired life. They're literally downloading their future self's operating system while their body regenerates. The advanced protocol involves full sensory engagement during visualization. You must see through the eyes of your future self, hear the sounds of your new reality, feel the emotions of already having achieved your desires, and even imagine the physical sensations. Dr. Dispenza emphasizes that emotion is the key to installation because your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not thinking. When you combine vivid imagery with elevated emotions like gratitude and joy, you're creating what he calls embodied experience before it manifests physically. The most powerful technique is what Dr. Dispenza terms acting from the end, living your entire day as if your manifestation has already occurred. This doesn't mean pretending or positive thinking. This means literally changing your posture, your breathing patterns, your decision-making process, and your energy field to match the person who already has what you desire. Your electromagnetic signature transforms because you're no longer broadcasting lack. You're radiating the frequency of fulfillment. Dr. Dispenza's research proves that people who master this advanced approach experience what he calls probability reorganization. Within 24 to 48 hours, synchronicities multiply, unexpected opportunities arise, and circumstances align in ways that seem impossible through normal cause and effect. They're not forcing outcomes through willpower, they're allowing their new electromagnetic field to draw matching experiences from the quantum realm. The breakthrough accelerates when you combine morning intention setting with evening reprogramming. Upon waking, before your analytical mind fully activates, you spend time in heart coherence, broadcasting your desires into the quantum field. At night, you install those same experiences as memories in your subconscious. This creates what Dr. Dispenza calls a manifestation loop, where your conscious and unconscious minds work in perfect alignment. Advanced practitioners learn to maintain elevated emotions throughout their day regardless of external circumstances. They understand that every time they react with frustration, impatience, or doubt, they're breaking the coherent signal that draws their desires. Instead, they use every challenge as an opportunity to practice being their future self, responding with wisdom, confidence, and grace because that's who they're becoming. The most rapid results occur when people combine this internal work with inspired action. Dr. Dispenza explains that once you achieve coherence between your heart and brain, you naturally receive intuitive downloads about what steps to take. These aren't forced actions born from desperation. They're aligned movements that flow effortlessly because you're operating from wholeness rather than lack. The transformation you've just learned about only becomes permanent through consistent daily practice. Dr. Dispenza's research reveals that it takes 21 days to form a new habit, but only 4 days of inconsistency to lose it completely. The most successful manifestors understand that this isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Your morning routine is your most powerful weapon for creating your future reality. Dr. Dispenza emphasizes that the moment you wake up before your analytical mind fully activates, you have a golden window of opportunity. Spend the first 20 minutes of your day in meditation. moving into heart coherence and broadcasting your desired future into the quantum field. Don't check your phone, don't think about your problems, don't slip back into being your old self. The protocol is simple but requires precise execution. Begin with deep breathing to shift from beta brainwaves to alpha and theta frequencies. Place your attention on your heart center and generate elevated emotions like gratitude, love, and joy. Then clearly visualize your future reality, feeling it with every cell of your body. Dr. Dispenza warns that if you skip this morning practice, you're essentially choosing to live on autopilot for the entire day. Throughout your day, practice what Dr. Dispenza calls embodied manifestation, acting, thinking, and feeling like the person who already has everything you desire. Every decision becomes an opportunity to choose your new identity over your old patterns. When someone cuts you off in traffic, respond with the grace and patience of your future self. When faced with financial stress, make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. The evening practice is equally crucial for reprogramming your subconscious mind. Before sleep, review your day and consciously choose to fall asleep holding the thoughts and emotions of your new reality. Dr. Dispenza's research shows that people who practice gratitude and visualization before bed experience measurable changes in gene expression overnight. Your dreams become rehearsals for your future reality. Track your progress through what Dr. Dispenza calls victory recognition. Notice the small synchronicities, the improved energy levels, the shift in how people respond to you. These are signs that your electromagnetic field is changing and your new reality is beginning to materialize. Keep a manifestation journal documenting every coincidence, every positive shift, every moment where life flows more easily. The key is understanding that consistency creates momentum. Dr. Dispenza explains that each day you practice, you're literally installing new neural networks and strengthening your manifestation muscle. After 30 days of consistent practice, your new identity becomes so hardwired that maintaining it requires less conscious effort. Your elevated emotions become your natural state, and manifestation transforms from something you do to something you are. But here's the most important part. You must protect your new vibration from external interference. Dr. Dispenza warns against sharing your manifestations with people who operate from limitation and doubt. Their skepticism can create energetic static that disrupts your coherent field. Practice in silence, allow your results to speak for themselves, and only share your journey with those who support your transformation. Now that you understand the complete science behind effortless manifestation, it's time to take action. The universe has orchestrated every circumstance to bring you this exact information at this precise moment in your life. Your breakthrough is waiting, but only if you commit to consistent daily practice starting right now. If this video has opened your mind to what's truly possible, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because we're just getting started on this journey of transformation. Give this video a thumbs up if Dr. Dispenza's research has shown you a new way to create your reality, and drop a comment below sharing which technique you're most excited to implement. Let's create a community of conscious creators who support each other's manifestation journey. Your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. Will you choose transformation or stay trapped in familiar limitations? The quantum field is waiting for your answer.